Hi, how are you? Today we're going to make a very simple Irish soda bread. I started making soda breads about 2 years ago and I can put it together in about 6 minutes and throw it in the oven. Absolutely no problems and absolutely lovely bread. So to start, before we start mixing the ingredients, we turn on the oven to 215 degrees in a fan oven or about 230 in a regular oven. So 215 degrees is loads in the fan oven. And then we're going to go to the ingredients. Right, here we are with our ingredients. It's very simple. I keep a container of mixed seeds. Buy them in the local discount store. I have a mixture of pumpkin seeds, linseed, sesame seeds, the white ones, and sunflower seed in there. And in fact there's a few pumpkin seeds from the previous mix in there. So the pumpkin seeds are the big green ones here. So first thing I do is, and I'm going to come around here, we're going to video around here, is we put 75 grams, or a good handful and a half of seeds into it. So 75 grams in there, so that's our 75 grams. Wholemeal, strong wholemeal flour. We usually put in about 200 grams of that. Now I don't think we actually have 200 grams today. No, we don't. We only have 86 grams. So the total in brown flour is about 400 grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that up to 400 grams of brown flour. It's gone a little bit over on the brown flour, but that's not a big deal. The next thing we do is we put in 100 grams of just plain flour, plain white flour, not strong flour, just plain flour. We sieve that in. Self-explanatory, teaspoon of salt, and bread soda. Again, just 1 teaspoon of bread soda into the mix. Okay, so to recount, we've 400 grams of brown flour, 100 grams of white flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda, along with our 75 grams of mixed seeds. So that's our dry ingredients total. So you could see there, just over a minute maybe to put the mix in. So there we go. Now, the next thing we do is we take a measuring jug with an egg. 1 egg, 1 measuring jug. Break the egg into the measuring jug. And we take our buttermilk. Now, buttermilk isn't available in some countries, but is readily available in Ireland. If you haven't got access to buttermilk, regular milk with a bit of lemon juice to make it sour. I actually find the buttermilk is actually slightly better if it's slightly out of date. And then we'll bring that up to just under 400 millilitres. Right, so we mix the egg into the buttermilk, and like I said, you can sour some regular milk with a bit of lemon juice if you don't have access to buttermilk. Okay, so we'll come around here now, get our dry ingredients. Now, you can and you should probably mix it by hand, but I've become fierce lazy about this, and I'm doing it so often now, I actually use the mixer. So we'll mix that up. That's probably enough there now. Now, the official way is to make a well in the centre of your mix and start pouring milk into the well. So we'll do that for today, and then start bringing the mix in. But I find it gets quite sticky. So what I've started doing is mix it onto a slow speed. Pour in the milk reasonably quickly, the milk and egg mix reasonably quickly. balls it all together. You may not need all the mix. There's a little bit left, you can see. That looks about right. Yeah. You can see there now, that's quite a nice consistency. Stay on it. So we have a mat here for the oven. Greaseproof paper onto the mat and start to put it into a ball. And just place it into a round. As you can see, it comes together quite nicely. Okay, pause. Okay, I've just went to wash my hands because it can be quite a sticky dough. Again, a few seeds on top. I'll press them in. The important thing is not to knead the dough. You don't want to be kneading the dough, definitely not. Just pat in the seeds, the extra seeds on top there now. There's no whatever you feel. Now the next important part is cut the cake and pull apart with the knife like that so that it's ½ inch apart or about a centimetre. Right down with a bread knife, almost to the bottom. In fact, I have been known even to cut right through the bread, but it'll actually come back together in the oven. And that's it, it's ready to go in. The oven hopefully has hit temperature. It actually hasn't today. Yeah, but it's not too far off. It's just below 200. But the important thing is, after you've made your bread mix, get it into the oven as quick as you can, because the reactions are already happening. So you just open the oven, slide it in, 15 minutes, and we'll come back to it in 15 minutes, and we'll turn down the temperature. Okay, we're about 15 minutes in now. First thing we do is we turn it down to about 165. We've taken it down from the 215 down to 165. Now our bread should have risen, and it has. You can see there, it's risen, it's all come back together here. So, the next thing I do is I actually remove the greaseproof paper from underneath it, and I just leave it there. And that then goes back in there for about another ½ hour at 160, and it'll be done. If you forget about it after ½ an hour, it's actually not a big deal. I've left mine in for 3/4 an hour, even sometimes an hour. The crust is a bit crunchier, but it's still a lovely bread, and we'll get back to it in a little while.